calling 911 multiple times and police aren't showing up. And then what ends up happening? It ends up being the worst, right? It ends up being one of the most notorious unaliving and abuse cases in the last 10 years. Or at least of the year. I'm not going to say last 10 years because there's probably worse cases. That was a case of 2024, and it looks like it's ended up being a case of 2025 too. This case is just as hot and important and on fire as it was in 2024, and we're in 2025. Of course, in hindsight, they had every right to be upset with the Orange County Sheriff's Department that was taking so long for their deputies to show up and process what was happening, that Maddie was missing. Yet, in hindsight, her knowing that her son is sitting in a cell for 3 months so far, accused of capital punishment unaliving and capital punishment abuse, she's pretending like all of that stuff happened in a vacuum and it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. Shame on her.
Conspiracy theories. You don't have to be a conspiracy theory to see the writing on the wall. Well, at any rate, that's probably not going to help me anyway. Well, don't give up anything. Don't give up on anything. Well, I'm not. I'm holding on to hope until there's nothing left to hold on to. Well, when you get to the end of the rope, you tie a knot in it and still hang on. I got here, I was praying to God for strength and serenity, and He's given me that.
I don't know.
Especially lately.
I know I keep waffling back and forth, but I just don't feel like Stephen Stearns has the dirt on Jen, man. I think Jen is so, I just think that it was kind of like an unspoken thing. And so he cannot say, yes, on April 19th of 2024, Jen told me, go upstairs and violate my daughter. I don't think he has that. I think it was kind of like she knew something was happening, but they never spoke about it. It was like a dirty little secret. And so now that he's in trouble, he probably could name a ton of situations where it's like, that was inappropriate and she didn't say anything. But I don't think he can name, yo, she knew I was doing this because we spoke about it. She gave me permission. She watched it. She participated. I don't think he has those goods. I think it was a diabolical, symbiotic relationship where she understood that he was doing things with Madeline. But at the same time, she was getting the companionship that she wanted from him. So she turned a blind eye. That's kind of what I'm getting from this, man. As much as I want to say, oh, she knew and she was there and she was participating, logic and facts don't bear up with that theory. What bears up with the theory is willful ignorance. I know something is happening, but I don't care. I'm getting what I want out of it. She doesn't look like she's having a bad time either. Of course, it's a delusional mind that's thinking that. Whatever. She loves him. They take care of each other. He takes the heavy lifting off of my shoulders for me to be a parent. He gives me companionship. He gives me pleasure when I want it. And to the point where it became unpleasurable for her because of his size. This is the stuff that she spoke about inside of her testimony. Let him do what he wants, and I get what I want. I get the emotional part of it. She gets the physical. I don't see her complaining. I don't care. That's what I'm thinking. I know it sounds diabolical as I'm saying it, but this is a diabolical circumstance, so there's no other way but to explain it in a diabolical way. I think willful ignorance is what we're working with here, and now that his feet are on fire, I don't think he has the goods to say on this day and time, she did X, Y, and Z. They could say on this day and time, Stearns did this and Stearns did that. They have the documented proof for that. I don't think Stearns has the proof to say on this day and time, Jen Soto did X, Y, and Z that could prove that she was accomplice in what I did. I don't think he has that, man. I don't think so. But let's keep going.
And there's just an overwhelming sense of calm and serenity.
Okay.
He's working on it. I pray for every day. I pray for him to put distance and protection around you. And hear you calling him. Oh, I have been here. Thank him for granting me that serenity. just thinking about, how he works, how he uses concept as a vehicle to move you. Yeah. I was in the kitchen making sandwiches, and I started laughing in the kitchen because we were talking about all these people saying stuff, about networks being set up and videos and blackmail and envelopes full of cash. And I'm thinking, damn, they've been watching some movies, haven't they? I know, I was thinking that too. It's like these spy movies.
You know what would be believable to me? Because really, a lot of this is about their own personal reputation as well. Once again, I don't know if any of that stuff is real. I know what's real with Stephen Stearns because we have the evidence of it. I don't know if I was about to call her Laundries. Somebody said in the chat she sounded like Brian Laundrie's mom, which she does. That letter that Brian Laundrie's mom wrote him has the same spirit in how she's speaking right now. I don't know if that's how they give it up in Florida, whatever. But what would be so believable to me is if they addressed it one time and said, listen, I think they said this literally, like a lot of people's reputations are going down because of what happened and your involvement in this. They're saying that we paid all friends. All that is bullshit. We're just sorry that this happened to this little girl, man. And listen, you're our son. We're going to support you the best way we can. But what you did to this little girl is horrendous. And we hope that you ask for forgiveness from God and from her eternal soul. If they spoke like that, I would be more inclined to believe that some of the things that were said about them is not true, because they'd be showing a different type of character than what was explained by these friends and these acquaintances on these other shows. But the way that they're talking to Stephen Stearns and the positions that they're taking and the blame that they're attributing to other people and the lack of accountability that they're putting on their own son, it kind of does reinforce what these people are saying about them. It reinforces it. Because look how you're talking, Deborah. Look how disgusting you sound in the way that you're speaking with this son of yours. And look what they're saying about you. It sounds like you have the character to do exactly what they're saying. And me trying to be as objective as possible, I don't know for a fact what they're saying is true. And I'm going to give deference, say there's a possibility some of those stories may have been embellished, but your character on this phone call does not sound like it's out of bounds as to what these folks are accusing you of doing in the past. I hear a mother who refuses to hold her son accountable for anything. Doesn't that sound like a mother that might possibly try and purchase people's silence if they had damning evidence on their son? If she could sell her house right now and get Stephen Stearns out of prison and get these charges nullified. Let's say we lived in a banana republic where you could bribe your way out of anything. Do you guys think that she would do that? How many of you in the chat, if you knew for a fact that your son did what was done to Maddie, if you got to sit down at a computer and watch all 1,700 of those videos and pictures, you could not turn away. You had to watch them from beginning to end. For each photo, you had to look at each photo for 10 seconds before you move to the next photo. And for every video, you had to watch it from start to finish before you move on to the next photo or video. You had to go through all 1,700. How many of you would purchase your son's freedom without no treatment, no justice, no nothing? Purchase your son's freedom so they could go back out in the world like nothing ever happened, if you could. And how many of you would actually hold your child accountable for their actions by letting them stay within the criminal justice system? I would let my child stay in the criminal justice system, even if that meant them losing their life. Because I believe in justice. What would you choose? I think Deborah would pay the money and have Stephen Stearns go free right now. That's what I'm thinking. No treatment, no justice, no nothing. Go out there and hopefully, That was late. Hopefully he won't do it again. She would just pray and pray that he would not do that again. I want to leave a poll for that. But she sounds like she has the character to do the things that these people are accusing her to do, even though I want to give a deference and say maybe it's a possibility she didn't. But let's keep going. But I'm going to put a poll in because I want to hear what you guys think about that.
I don't know. I know the house to pay them off. Why don't you bother putting the cash in the middle envelope if you're going to be in front of the house? Who knows? But then that's funny because I went to a restaurant and slid it across the table to them. I know. And what is that? Why not both parents at the house? Wouldn't that make more sense? Well, none of it makes sense, and I keep telling Chris that why can't I just offer to go take a lie detector test and put all this to bed, but, you know. If you're going to want a cash, why don't you take it out of the bank envelope and put it into a big manila envelope just to take it inside to a house and hand it to somebody? Why would I give it to those ones that won't go anyway? He was a terrible liar anyway. He lied about big things, he lied about little things, he lied to women all the time. He lied just to, I don't know, make himself seem cool or maybe gain more acceptance. He just lied. He was one of those people that lied for no reason. It's like, no, you don't have to lie. Like, we already lied to you. You already have friends. There's no need to lie or build yourself up, you know? Because they're a habitual liar, and it's hard when you're a liar to keep the truth straight because you change it every time you tell somebody something. I just used to laugh out and just admit it. Yeah, no. It's weird. It's so weird. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever. He thought he'd count his money, walk away and laugh the same thing you said. Yeah, probably. These people they don't have a moral compass. They have no conscience. They have nothing redeeming about them. I'm sure God can find something, but He's going to have to dig. And I don't think they're looking to him for anything anyway. So just didn't have any honor or integrity.
They're talking about honor and integrity, ladies and gentlemen. Honor and integrity. The audacity of these two folks to talk about honor and integrity. Let's keep going.
No. Took me too long to do it. You know, back to what I was saying, I was thinking about, how God uses hardship as a vehicle to move people.
All right, before he pontificates about God, isn't it crazy to hear Beelzebub, Mephistopheles? Isn't it crazy to hear him talk about God? A person who is probably the definition of evil. Very interesting stuff. But before he talks about God, guys, please hit that like button. We have over 800 people, almost 850 people watching the stream right now, and we only have 429 likes. Please hit that like button to support the channel. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's listen to Stearns talk about God.
Right. Human nature being what it is, even if we're not where we're supposed to be in life, we'll stay there if we're comfortable enough. Yeah, it changes, so God uses hardship as motivation and a vehicle to move us to where we need to be in life. You know what he did with me and Nikki? I remember standing in that pasture of his body. With the God off and telling him how much I hated him, but that was the reason that I got saved. Because I lost Vicky.
All
this happened.
Saved you from what?
Passed away. But immediately brought me back to God. That was the first thing I did was take God to take me and spare her.
I mean, for all my Christians who are in the room, do you guys think that she's saved? Does she talk like a person who's saved? Is she using the word appropriately? Is she trying to guide this wayward sheep that is Stephen Stearns in the right direction? I'm just curious. I'd like your opinion. Is she a good Christian? Does she sound like a good Christian right now, talking to this pedo, this pedophile, PDF, I can't even say it right, PDF, unalive her, and not holding him accountable for the choices that he made. You guys tell me. I'm here to learn from you as well.
You know, everybody who loves somebody will do that. So,
you know, let's branch it out. I'm sorry, I'm gonna let it play out. I'm gonna branch it out. We got Muslims in here too. We got Buddhists in here. We got atheists in here. I want to know, would she sound like a good Muslim? Would she sound like a good Buddhist? Would she sound like a good person that's a responsible member of the universe if you don't believe in a higher power? Does she sound like she has good humanity if you believe in nothing and you just believe in the here and now? I want to know, does she sound like good anything in the way that she is speaking to Stephen Stearns right now? I don't know her personally. Maybe if I met her and didn't know nothing about this and we had a drink together, I'd be like, oh, you're a very nice person. But from what we hear, the way she's vulnerable right now, remember, this is when people really show you who they are, when they're vulnerable. She's vulnerable right now, having maybe what she believes is a private conversation. I hope so, because I would hate to say or believe that she knows that this is going to be public one day and she's talking like this. Does this sound like a good human being? I'd like to know. You guys tell me.
no. You know, if you love somebody, you would rather take their pain than have them have it.
Yeah, you know, I would have done it for her. But, you know, I told God, you know, I said, I see what you did. You didn't want me back to you, and I just stayed for a long time, and, you know, I just received, you know, my eyes are open, and I just wish it didn't have such a high price attached to it. And it's just, I don't know.
You know, sometimes you have to look at why it was taken, and it was time.
Wow. Sometimes you have to look at why she was taken, and it was her time. She basically just said that maybe it was Maddie's time to go. Almost in a sense justifying. I'm not saying she said that she's justifying, but she's almost saying that there was some type of divine plan that justifies Maddie losing her life. You hear this? Like God had a hand in this? God put Maddie on this earth for this man to prey upon her since she was 6 years old? In my opinion? 8 years old, documented on the phone? That was God's plan. That was God's plan, that a few days after her birthday and the same night as the celebration of her birthday, within 24 hours of the celebration of her birthday, that this man would put his hands around her neck and squeeze the breath out of her life. That was God's plan?
What's going to happen to you when you're born? He knows every moment of your life is coming. So,
So God was destined. So God destined Maddie. Forget about free will, which they talk about in the Bible all the time. God destined Maddie to be born to experience this. This was her destiny. For what? There's only one person that I know about, and I'm not trying to make this biblical, but I'm just speaking because she's talking about God and all this stuff. There's only one entity that I know about who was destined to die. And that was Jesus Christ. And that was for our sins. And we needed that. Especially when you listen to this phone call, you are listening to a sin. May God have mercy on these people's souls. Let's keep going.
Every day I've been reassuring myself that I have to be patient and maintain my faith. And have faith that He has a plan for me, whatever it may be. And it will be revealed in time. And then all I have to do is be patient.
I want to go back a little bit to digest what he's saying right now. Where we're at 102.49. I'm bringing it back to 1. I gotta digest this. Says stuff will be revealed in time and stuff like that. No. We gotta digest this.
and understanding that factor of his body, flipping God off and telling him how much I hated him, but that was the reason that I got saved. Because I lost Vicky.
Oh, yeah. And all this happened and, you know, passed away and immediately brought me back to God. And the first thing I did was take God and take me and spare her.
Ask God to take him and spare him. Bring her one more time. I'm sorry, man. I gotta digest this, man. If you want to listen to this straight through, go to Plunder. Go to Plunder. I go to Plunder. I will never lead you wrong. That's why you barely hear me mention other creators. The creators I mention are the ones that I know I will not steer you wrong to. They are safe. They are professional. They are good at what they do. If you're here right now, you want me to stop this video, play it back 1,000 times and analyze it. That's what you're here for. So just throw that out there. Before we continue, we did that poll. 242 people answered that poll. 99% of the people who answered that poll says they would hold their son accountable for what he did to Madeline Soto. Says 0% says they'll set him free. I don't know why that's not 100%. Even though 0% said they set him free, you only had two options. I would say with confidence, 100% of you said you'd hold your kid accountable. That's the nature of the people who watch this show. You are moral people. You are upstanding people. You are honorable people. The opposite of what we're hearing on this call when we hear Stephen Stern talking about morality and honor. You have no honor, sir. The people in this chat have honor. Anyway, let's bring it back. Let me hear this again.
Yeah, changes so that I can use hardship and motivation and people who really feel we need to be in life.
You know what you did with me and Vicky? I remember standing in that pastor over the lobby, flipping God off and telling him how much I hated him, but that was the reason that I got saved. Because I lost Vicky.
Oh, yeah. And all this happened and, you know, passed away and immediately brought me back to God. And the first thing I did was take God and take me and spare her.
You know, everybody who loves somebody will do that. So,
I gotta stop now.
Everybody who loves somebody will do that.
you know, if you love somebody, we would rather take their pain than have them have it.
Yeah, I would have done it for her. But, you know, I told God, you know, I said, I see what you did. You immediately brought me back to you, and I just prayed for a long time, and I just had such a high price attached to it.
God brought him back. He had strayed from God, and God brought him back. But there was such a high price for him to be brought back to God. Like he's a saint or something. He is so important that God had to sacrifice Maddie to bring him back to God, to bring him back to Jesus. God ordained that Maddie should be sacrificed. Maddie should be sacrificed so that he could come back to Jesus. That's how important Stephen Stearns is. Wow. This phone call is wild. This phone call is wild. I didn't know it was going to be this crazy. I didn't hear this. This is my first time hearing this. Let's keep going.
You know, sometimes you have to look at why God was taken, and it was time.
It was
God
her.
knows what's going to happen to you when you're born. He knows every moment of your life is coming. So,
He does have a plan. He does have a plan. God did not ordain Maddie to be unalived by this man. But I'm telling you what he did ordain. And maybe I'm talking out my butt now. Maybe I'm channeling my own Stephen Stearns Deborah conversation. There is a sacrifice that will be made that is ordained by God for the rest of us. And that sacrifice is going to be Stephen Stearns. When he meets old Sparky and we get justice, That's going to prove as a deterrent for any other PDFs out there who think they could do what was happened to Maddie and get away with it. He's going to be that sacrifice that's going to let them know, think twice before you do that, because we're going to come for you. So there's a sacrifice that's going to be made eventually, Stephen Stearns, but that sacrifice is going to be you, my friend. Let's keep going.
Every day I've been reaffirming myself, reassuring myself that I have to be patient and maintain my faith. I have faith that He has the plan for me, whatever it may be, and it will be revealed in time. And all I have to do is be patient, and trust.
I don't know what it looks like.
Well, you gotta trusting, you gotta maintain your sanity, you gotta maintain your cool. And like Xavier told me, when he was in jail, the only thing that saved him was trying to keep a sense of humor about the situation, even though it was terrible.
I don't have much of a humor anymore, to be honest. Very long time died when she did.
Well,
I'm not the same person anymore. I don't think I will be. There's someone that I just don't ever feel.
well, I'm assuming that they are treating you for PTSD because you found a body.
What?
Not to mention everything else that went on with that.
No, captivating.
Are you kidding me? Deborah Stearns believes that he should be treated for PTSD because he found the body.
That they are treating you for PTSD.
She's saying he's the victim. What? He should be treated for PTSD. Wow. Oh. This is very disappointing, man. This is very disappointing. This is very disappointing. This is why I don't do interviews with like victim family. I mean, not victim, but like perp families and stuff like that. That's why I was very hesitant and I decided not to move forward with interviewing these folks. This is not good. This is terrible. Hit that like button, people. Hit that like button.
Well, they need to do PTSD because you're not leaving.
Well, you know, I keep telling myself that to maintain my faith, not faith because of God, I have nothing, and I'm keeping that, you know?
Well, just remember that not everybody knows who God is, and not everybody who's walking around is not a demon. Some are demons.
Keep telling God that. Trust you and I say to you, please deliver me from people who are trying to destroy me.
Now, can you put some money in my comment?
I just want to see my parents again.
I just want to see. Oh, no. No. I understand what's happening here. You guys don't see what's happening here?
Keep crying.
We are getting animated. Well, at least I'm getting animated. I can't see you guys. You guys can see me. We're getting animated for no reason. I'm going to tell you why we're getting animated for no reason. He's lying. He's putting this act on for his mother.
Yeah, he is.
All I want to do is see my parents again. Stephen Stearns didn't give two craps about his parents. Stephen Stearns did not care about his parents one bit. I know it. You guys know it. We've all seen this together. We've all followed this case together. He didn't care about his parents. When he was spoken to by the detectives, they didn't even elicit these facts. He basically made them look like they were senile and out of their minds, and they couldn't hear and they couldn't see, and they walked around bumping into the walls with dogs pooping all over the place. And we all know that is the total opposite as to how these people are physically and how they live their life. He's talking in a way that's going to give the validation to his mother that she seeks so that she can continue to support him. He doesn't believe this. He knows his mother is a Bible thumper, so he's talking religion in order to, the $50 on the commissary, guys. That's why. The $50 on the commissary. Big shout out to Jill Corby with a $2 super sticker, and we got another one here. Caleb P, $9.99 super chat says, "We're coming for you, Stephen. We are. We coming for you, but I gotta add, we're coming for that horse. We coming for that horse." Let's keep going. I see the strategy now. I see the play.
I'm awfully quiet about you. I just remember the wrong.
What? I asked the mother, how can she say it's been quiet with dogs? Well, yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, nobody to say, hey, you're making ramen?
Yeah, no, was a big hit, even with, I used to remember she would have such a mischievous little evil smile on her face when I made her first alone and she tried fighting and steal the rest of the bowl and walk away while she had an evil look and smile back at me. Really sad.
Making my bed.
No. Oh, she was a very special child, and I just did not happen that way, and I wish a lot of things did not happen the way they happened, you know what I'm talking about?
Wait, did she say that she was a mischievous child? Let me go back. I want to hear what she said.
Well, yeah, I
Hold
mean,
on, real quick. Jill Corby with another $2 super stick said we had to send Stearns to Electric Avenue with a song. That's an excerpt from a song. All right. Appreciate you. Let me hear this. Did she just say that Maggie was a mischievous child? I don't want to misquote this lady. Let me see in it. If she didn't say that, I apologize. Let me hear this.
you know, nobody to say, hey, you're making ramen?
Yeah, no, was a big hit, even with, I used to remember she would have such a mischievous little evil smile on her face when I made her first alone and she
All right, he said a mischievous little evil smile. That's not bad. I'm not saying that. So maybe my brain put that with what Deborah says, but I don't think she said people in the chat saying special. But let's keep listening.
try to fight and steal the rest of the bowl and walk away while she had an evil look and smile back at me.
One like.
Really sad.
I miss you.
No. Oh, she was a very special child.
Okay, she said a very special child, not mischievous. Very special child. So I stand corrected. I apologize. Let's keep going.
And I just did not happen that way, and I wish a lot of things did not happen the way they happened, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So I don't understand that. I don't think there's ever anything that anybody could say to me that would make me understand that. So I'm not going to go further than that into it, but just know that I don't care what you did.
Hold on here. Big shout out to K. Initials is KA, who sent a very substantial cash app, man, and we appreciate that, man. It's very kind of you.
How do I
KA, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Man, we do appreciate the love, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting us, man. We don't take this stuff lightly. You know, people are parting ways with their hard-earned money. We know that times are hard out here. We have some other people I didn't see. I'm going to go ahead and show that love. So initials MK with another super chat. RA with another super chat. I mean, I say super chat. Cash App. I mean, it's all Cash App. JR with a Cash App and BN with a Cash App. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting the channel and being as generous as you are being. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. And to everybody who sent us super chats out of the chat, wow, you guys are awesome, man. Keep it coming. We definitely need the help to keep this show going. And we want to grow. So please, listen, if you can't support the show, which we don't ask, we accept it and we appreciate it because we need it. But you go on some channels and they're like, you must. Negative, okay? We don't do that here. But if you want to support the show, but you can't support the show, what you can do is hit the like button. And you can go into the chat and say something. Because all of that is engagement. So when YouTube bots see that we have 950 people watching this stream right now, and if we were to have 900 likes, and the chat flying up like crazy where we got to put it on slow motion mode because everybody's trying to talk at the same time, they're going to say, this is a very popular and probative and entertaining stream. Let's go ahead and put this on the recommendation page. Now when it gets on the recommendation page, as soon as somebody opens up YouTube, they're going to see True Crime with Strategic. They're going to click in. They're going to see what we're doing in here, the special work that we're doing in here. They're going to subscribe, and guess what? The show is going to grow. And that's all we want is for the show to grow. So if you can't do anything else, just hit the like button and say something in the chat. That's all we're asking for, nothing else. And if you're not a talkative person, if you're working out, it takes nothing to say, hi, chat. It takes nothing to say, I'm listening from Chicago, I'm listening from Atlanta, I'm listening from Italy. It takes nothing to say that and nothing else. You don't even have to come back and say anything else. Just get into that chat, say something, and make sure you hit the like button before we jump back into it. So let me thank somebody who gave me a super chat. That would be Cocoa Butter with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. And Michelle, who's celebrating 5 months as a recruit member. Thank you so much, both of you, for supporting the channel in your own way. One giving a super chat, the other one as a member. You guys are amazing. Let's keep going.
There is nothing that would make me hate you. There's nothing that would make me turn my back on you.
I appreciate
Nothing.
Thank you.
Nothing.
Well, you're welcome, sweetheart.
And, you know, just going up for visits and playing new snacks and new treats for her to try, or showing her new video games or card games and things like that. You know, just, I miss that.
Yeah, that's the 1 minute notice.
Yeah, there it is again. I'll try to call back in another 15 minutes, but you know the deal. If you don't hear from me then, I'll call back tomorrow.
Okay, we'll catch up to you then.
Alright.
Oh,
Love
Dad
you
was
too.
sitting here
I'll
the
try
whole
again in
time
15 minutes,
listening to
okay?
that bullshit.
Okay.
The time.
All right, so you guys know we're doing 2 calls per show because when I add my commentary, that first call took us an hour to get through, hour and 7 minutes. So that's how long it takes us to get through these calls because we're adding commentary. So here's the second one. After this, we're going to do a call-in show, and we'll call it a day. Big shout out to, just want to give some love, Friends of Cows with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Friends of Cows. Says every word makes it worse. My flabbers are gasted in the worst way possible. I love it. I love the way you put that. You flabbergasted. I love that. That was so creative. Appreciate you for the $10 super chat. And Jamie MP with a $5 super chat says, hopefully they give Stearns a nice and comfy electric blanket. Forever. He won't have to worry about the itchy blanket anymore. He also won't have to worry about being cold. Or maybe he will. Good comment, Jamie MP. All right. Now. Second call. Let's do it.
Time is 8:51 p.m. It's
Hey, hey,
Yeah.
Whoop, I think I missed the super chat. Aki said Nikki. Let me go ahead and see if I missed a super chat. Simply Nikki with a $4.99 super chat. Says, hi, chat. I'm listening from Chicago. Strategic, you scared me. I'm like, damn, called out. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, Simply Nikki, for actually taking the time to come in and saying something. I see people in the chat, people saying, I'm cleaning. They put the broom down to say, hey, I'm cleaning, I'm showing up to give us that engagement. Another person, I'm putting on my makeup. They put that blush down to take the time to shout us out and let us know, hey, I'm here. It's all we're asking for, that engagement and the like button. Thank you so much, Nikki. Now, call number 2.
okay. Anyway, yeah, you know, just getting back to what I was saying, just faith and trust, and, you know, message received.
I guess if there's one thing that we wish for, is that you had come to us sooner. That you had come to us and let us know what was going on.
Well, unfortunately, I was suffering from a bit of cowardice.
Yeah, but well, hindsight's always 20/20, and can't do anything about it now, but, you know, this thing,
It's bigger because of it.
it's a bigger problem because of that, and, again, not sure what would be I'm sure there would be some things different, if you had chosen that path, because there's obviously nothing, we could have done, without, well, there's nothing we could have done. I mean, there was only one choice.
We're gonna have to go back. I'll give you a shower, son. I thought I was gonna have to end the live because my son is about to go to movies and mommy wanted me to give him a shower. But I have time. So we got to go back because I heard some crazy stuff. Him talking about he's a coward. I wonder what he's saying. And then Chris Stern started talking and all that stuff. I couldn't hear none of that. So we got to go back. Let's go back. Let's go back.
Okay, we'll catch up to you then.
Love you, honey.
Love you too, and I'll try again in 15 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Dude, I
The
wonder
time is
if
8:51
they can hear.
p.m. It's
Hi, Casey. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, you know, just
It's muted.
getting back to what I was saying, just faith and trust,
So, hold on, let me try this.
message received.
I guess if there's one thing that we wish for, is that you had come to us sooner. That you had come to us.
Mute. Okay, I just muted. Now I'm gonna go to this screen. Right? I'm gonna go to this screen and cut the volume up. Can you hear me? Do you all hear me? Right? The volume is up. Do you hear me? Can I be heard? I don't know. I don't know. So is this what you guys are seeing? Exit full screen. Oh. Bring that back. Click to exit full screen. All right. Maybe. How do I show me? That's a question. How do I show myself? 'Cause I got. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. But what's. So. What's being seen? I don't see anything being seen here.
Know what was going on.
Well, unfortunately, I was suffering from a bit of cowardice.
Where'd my mic go?
Yeah, but well.
That is the most truthful thing that he has ever said in his life. The most truthful thing he has ever said in his life. You suffered from cowardness. Of course he was a coward. It wasn't even that he was a coward to report to his family what he was doing to Maddie. Think about that. You know that if you tell anybody what you're doing to Maddie, that's going to result in you going to jail. Whether you're repentant or not, people are about self-preservation. I don't live in an imaginary world where people are going to do things that go against their own self-interest, which is like freedom in life, right? It wasn't so much he was a coward that he was afraid to come forward and say, hey, I've been abusing this juvenile for such a long time. He was a coward that he wasn't even able to stop. Stop. He continued abusing her until the very end. Until the very end, he continued to abuse her.
Oh, it's. I know there's a delay.
Him calling himself a coward is the most honest thing Stephen Stearns has ever said in his entire existence. And that says a lot for a man who's 40 years old. Let's keep going.
Hindsight's always 20/20, and can't do anything about it now. But you know, this thing, it's bigger because of it. It's a bigger problem because of that, and again, not sure what would be any. I'm sure there would be some things different if you had chosen that path, because there's obviously nothing we could have done without. There's nothing we could have done. I mean, there was only one choice. But you know, we could have talked our way through this. I mean, the phone call that you made to me earlier in the afternoon, if you had at least shared that, you know, we could have talked our way through that and figured out a much better solution than whatever whatever you guys came up with.
So basically, Chris Stearns is trying to be the voice of reason. I think he's trying to clean it up because, you know, he's talking to the mother and he's saying, hey, you know, wish I was a college so I didn't come to you early. And the mother's like, wish you would come to us early or whatever. And so Chris is kind of like saving face, like, well, if you would have come to us, I'm not sure we could have did anything different than what we have now, but at least what he's trying to say in a mealy-mouthed way is we at least could have made this land a little more softly, like maybe getting him an attorney earlier on, stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's basically what Chris is trying to say in a mealy-mouthed way, all right? But at the same time, he's saving face by letting it be known to the world that, well, you know, you still would have been in trouble. We would have reported you. That's basically what he's saying. We would have reported you, but we would have been able to support you on this journey a little bit better than we're supporting you now if we'd have had more of a heads up as to what you actually did. So let's keep going.
Because none of that was believable.
None of that was.
And I was thinking earlier today or yesterday that somehow I feel that you were forced into this, and I don't, and that's just my speculation, that you were compromised and you were forced to participate in this, and you know, as soon as you got away from the rest of us, you should have called me, and we could have discussed this, and the outcome would have been a lot different than what it is right now.
I don't want to get your hopes up, and as I said, don't get carried away with any conspiracy theories.
See, this is the kind of statements that make me believe that he doesn't have the goods on Jen Soto, ladies and gentlemen. As much as I'd like him to, when he says don't let conspiracy theories, you know, get involved in all of this, basically what Chris Stearns is saying is that Jen Soto was involved and kind of coerced him into this thing. Jen Soto somehow made Maddie slip, fall, and fall on top of Stephen Stearns. That's basically what he's saying. That it's not Stearns' fault, it's Jen's fault, it's Maddie's fault. And they just coerced him and forced him into doing the diabolical things that he did. And what's Stephen Stearns' response? Let's not get involved with conspiracy theories. He doesn't say, yeah, well, the truth come out soon, or you know what, you're onto something, Dad. No, he says, let's not get involved with conspiracy theories. Now, is he just saying that to support Jen? I don't know. I don't know. But I just feel like if he had the goods at this point, with all these motions and all the good fight that his attorneys are now trying to put forward to save his life and save him from old Sparky, I think they would have played that card if they had that card. If they had the goods, I'm talking about that. Good. They didn't get it up already. I don't think they have the goods. And even he's telling us, don't get involved in conspiracy theories.
The way I was compromised, you know, when all that stuff was happening, I was not in my right mind anymore.
He said he was compromised, but he's not in his right mind. He's basically putting the blame on himself now. Which is good. accountability to a certain extent. Of course, he's deflecting, saying he wasn't in his right state of mind. That's a subtle deflection, but nonetheless, he's not saying it was Jen Soto. He said, I was compromised and I wasn't in my right state of mind.
Well, I understand that. That's when you probably should have called me and said, hey, I got a bit of a situation here, and
Then the rational to do that. At that point, I was no longer capable of rational actions or thoughts.
yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Capable of it. I had no control over my happiness anymore. It's like the money was money, but there's a state of tension behind the wheel.
Yeah.
I understand that. I don't understand lack of emotion.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it wasn't like she was catatonic. She was talking in a normal voice, you know. The only thing that showed any emotion at all was jiggling her leg, but she did that anyway. So
Yeah,
I don't understand. Yeah, she was anxious because she was lying through her teeth. That's okay.
Don't get your hopes up for any conspiracy theories or vast conspiracy.
There we go. Once again, the mother's talking about the testimony that Jen Soto gave to the police that we all saw. Even they saw it. And she's describing how she felt that Jen Soto was lying through her teeth. She's describing the physical characteristics, the tics, the tells that Jen Soto was giving up inside of that interrogation room with the leg shaking and all that stuff. You guys remember we listening and people like, what's that sound, Strategic? What's the sound, Strategic? The sound is her leg vibrating on the ground. And what does Stephen Stern say? Don't get your hopes up for any conspiracy theories or vast conspiracies. Don't get your hopes up. Doesn't sound like somebody got the goods to me. Either A, he doesn't have the goods, or B, he is on protect Jen Soto mode to the extreme. Because it doesn't sound like he's got the goods to me. Let's keep going.
It's just understand that anything I did was not done while being within my rational mind. I had snapped at that point.
And this is a confession here, guys. This is a partial confession. I mean, I've spoken about this before, and you got some knuckleheads who's like, well, what do we need any of that for? We have the pictures. Well, guess what? Maybe this is not your thing. This is the justice system. And in the justice system, we want all the evidence we can get. So if you're watching true crime, you're supposed to respect the justice system. You're supposed to want to understand how we do business, right? That's why I'm taking the time to talk to you. I want you to understand how we do business. So if you want to operate on emotions, then you need to go do something else. This is for rational people who want to understand the justice system. We want every piece of evidence. Having the pictures is never enough. It might be enough to get you convicted, but it's never enough for a detective, and it's never enough for a prosecutor. It's not even enough for a defense attorney. Defense attorney wants all discovery. Everything that's probative, all Brady material. So even though we have him dead to rights, we still want more. He just gave a partial confession just now. One of many partial confessions. Just like how he put himself with Maddie's body. He said he was the last one to see her go to bed, and he was the first one to discover her dead in the house. He had never, ever admitted to Maddie being dead in his presence. But guess what? He did that on the phone. That's a confession. He said she was cold. He discovered her at dawn. That's a massive confession. It just adds to make sure that he gets life with capital punishment on the end. I was about to say life in prison. I stopped myself because I don't want to put that out there to the universe. I want him to get the death penalty. That's what we want. And people say, oh, what does it matter? It matters. Nicholas Cruz. It matters. Nicholas Cruz was supposed to get the death penalty. Instead, he got life in prison. Why? Because people will ever look at his past and said, oh, he had a tough life. You hear these? I played the video with the jurors. Oh, he had a tough life. He had a tough life. His mom passed away. He's a foster kid. And, oh, he had a tough life, so we didn't give him the death penalty. What's to say that this jury on Stephen Stern is not going to say, oh, he had a TBI. Don't give him the death penalty. oh, he was with Jen Soto, and anybody who would be in a relationship with Jen Soto, they deserve deference. Don't give him the death penalty. For the simple fact that he shared a bedroom with Jen Soto, don't give him the death penalty. Somebody could say that. I might be tempted if I'm on that jury to say, wow, he was in a relationship with Jen Soto. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to give him the death penalty. I'm just joking. I'm really just joking. So that's why we got to get every single piece of evidence so that we can make sure that he gets his coming up in his gets what he deserves. Keep going.
I wish I had done the correct thing to begin with. I wish I had run downstairs and shaken her away and called 911 and all that.
Oh, I thought you had a party thing.
I wish you had too.
Oh, you didn't stay for the party?
I wish you had too. Maybe she could have stayed, but
she
Did you
was,
get the link?
she was beyond that.
Huh?
Okay.
Oh,
She's
did you?
beyond it. Guilty knowledge. She's telling us right now she was someone that's ice cold. Are we going to get to 1,000? 998 viewers right now. When we get to 1,000, tell your friend to come on the stream. We're at 1,010. We got to do this. We got to celebrate. Thank you so much for the 110 people who are watching this stream right now. Big shout out to Sonny. Oh, the White Moore, $5 super says, I wouldn't be surprised if Stearns was trying to blame Maddie for starting the essay as well. A lot of PDF files blame the juvie for seducing them. He's already done that. We've covered that. Absolutely. Good comment because he's already done it.
She's in a different part of the house.
Yeah.
She wasn't with you?
She had gone to be with me earlier in the night, but I left her alone for quite a while. I was sort of just walking around and, haunting around the house like I do.
Wow.
Sometimes I go out for walks at night or just sit on
So he said that she started the night out with him, but then he left her. But is he insinuating that she left as well? I don't know. That sounded kind of wonky to me. But let's keep going. I'm not going to go back. Let's keep going. But basically what he's saying is he wasn't with her the whole time. Let's keep going.
Challenge to just fiddle around on my phone and just, I don't sleep all the night, especially when I'm probably be up early and do something the next day.
Yeah.
And that was the case. So every time I realized anything was wrong, it was,
She's in a different part of the house when you found that out.
she was still upstairs.
Oh, she was upstairs. Okay.
Yeah, I left her alone there.
Okay.
I had gone downstairs for a while and, every time I realized anything was wrong, it was just,
Go away,
I was lady, she'd been gone for a while.
So is he implying that she passed away in her sleep or something? I mean, we're talking about a townhouse here. We're not talking about a mansion. We're talking about a townhouse that has multiple roommates in it. So what is he alleging? Is he alleging somebody else came into the house and took Maddie's life? Is he alleging that Jen Soto did it? Is he alleging that one of the roommates did it? What is he alleging? Because he said, I went downstairs. He said, sometimes I like to take walks, but he didn't say he took a walk. He didn't say he left the house. He's just describing what he does on a regular basis because he can't sleep. But what he's definitively saying from what I took from this statement is that he went downstairs. So you're in a small house. It's a townhouse. He's downstairs. Maddie's still up in bedroom number 4. The question is, what is he alleging happened to Maddie in that room between him seeing her alive in the bed and him going downstairs and then returning upstairs to find her cold? Let's keep going.
Just seeing her pale face, blue lips, and how ice cold she was.
Pale face and blue lips, how ice cold she was. This is him describing Maddie's ending, her final moment. Very sad that we have to hear this from him. That this is the final memory of Maddie. Very, very sad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I remember seeing my brother when he had passed away, and that's the last thing I remember seeing of him. And
And then, so now the father's trying to relate to the son. And in relating, he's probably talking about somebody who passed away from natural causes, I presume. I don't know if his brother passed away from a violent instance, but I doubt it. So now he's trying to relate to his son by describing how he felt looking at his brother. I have a similar story too, by the way, as well. My brother passed away, and I saw him in his final moment. But even with my own personal story, there's no comparison between what Stephen Stearns is describing due to what he did to Madeline Soto versus what I and Chris Stearns witnessed in our own life. I would never talk about what happened with my brother passing away from natural causes and in some way kind to compare that to Maddie having the life squeezed out of her by Stephen Stearns. There's no comparison. I would never even speak about them in the same breath. Yet Chris Stearns is doing that. Let's keep going.
Yeah, you know, it's just, you can tell.
Yes, you can. My dad, yeah.
It's just, when they're gone, really, really, truly gone, it's just, it's nothing you can do. There's no coming back.
yeah.
No, there isn't.
She was kind of point of no return.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, given the crazies of the grandmom and already started to call her a Gordo, she would have been the next one on the list for, yeah.
I mean, aren't they on Ozempic? They said that they were on Ozempic. So why would you, and they were all overweight. Not Stephen Stearns, but the parents. Why would Deborah be calling this lady Gordo, which I believe is overweight, right? We're my Spanish speakers. Am I wrong? Isn't Gordo like a slur for talking about somebody's weight? Why would she talk about this lady's weight if she herself had battled and struggled with weight? Gordo is a cute thing we say. What does that mean, though? I thought it meant like you were big. Tell me what it means. What is the definition of Gordo? It means overweight. That's what it means. It means overweight. So it's just the hypocrisy. You might look slim now because you're shooting up Ozempic, and then you're making fun of somebody else. Make that make sense. Let's keep going.
Gastric bypass, but I just think, you know, maybe God just delivered her out of a place that was going to become really bad for her.
Oh, she's saying that somebody said, I don't know, let's bring this back. Somebody said that she was saying that the grandmother was calling Maggie fat. I don't know. Let me listen to that again. Y'all be making stuff up sometimes, but maybe you're right. Let's listen to that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember seeing my brother when he had passed away, and that's the last thing I remember seeing of him. And so,
Yeah, you know, it's just, you can tell.
yes, you can. My dad, yeah.
It's just, when they're gone, really, really, truly gone, it's just, it's nothing you can do. There's no coming back.
yeah.
No, there isn't.
She was kind of point of no return.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, given the crazies of the grandmom and already started to call her a Gordo, she would have been the next one on the list for gastric bypass, but I just think, you know, maybe God just delivered her out of a place that was going to be.
So it looks like what she's saying is that the mother, so I stand corrected. Deborah is not calling the grandmother Gordo. Deborah is saying that the grandmother was calling Maddie Gordo, and that Maddie would have next been on the list for gastric bypass, which is what Jen Soto got. And that now maybe God, I'm reading the subtitles now. Maybe God just delivered her out of a place that was going. Let's see what else she said. So that's what she said. Let's
It
pick it up.
become really bad for her.
That was going to come really bad for her. So she's claiming the grandmother was verbally abusing Maddie by calling her the Gordo. Wow. Let's keep going.
I mean, I always knew that life was going to be hard for her. Her mom certainly didn't do her any favors, and since I had no say in the matter of how she was raised or disciplined or anything, there was nothing I could do about it. But sit back and watch the train wreck as it unfolded.
So it wasn't a train wreck that Jen Soto was a douchebag moms to Maddie. They're arguing all the time about cleaning up clothes and washing dishes and stuff like that. And then in the nighttime, you're abusing her. You didn't add to that train wreck. You was the only shining light. You forcing yourself on this human being was the light of her day. So it's like, oh man, my mom sucks, but tonight I'm going to be up all night getting abused by Steph, and I'm looking forward to it. That's what this guy is saying. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and she's trying to tell everybody that was a little angel and she had no problems with her, and you were already telling us that they were butting heads like two Rocky Mountain lambs.
Yeah, they got physical on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, I figured they did that again.
Somebody said it in the chat. Regardless of how crazy her life allegedly was with Jen, if Stephen would have stayed out of her life, who said that? Jesse from the nap? If Stephen would have stayed out of her life, she'd still be alive today. She would be alive. If Stephen wasn't in her life, she would still be alive. Regardless of whether she hates her mom, grandma's calling her Gordo, whatever it may be, she popping 1,000 pills because Dr. Jen diagnosed her with 1,000 mental health conditions. Regardless, she'd still be alive to this day. She's not alive because of Stephen Stearns. There's no other reason. Not Jen, not grandma, not nobody. Not the music teacher. Those who know, know. Nobody. Not the school counselors that hear you, but they don't hear you. They listening to you, but they not listening. The only reason why she's not here right now is Stephen Stearns. Yet Stearns and Deborah can't see that. They can't acknowledge Mr. Obvious. Let's keep going.
But okay.
I often played mediator between the two of them because I was the only one that could talk either of them down when they started going at it with each other.
Yeah, I know.
Where were the roommates when all this is going on?
Upstairs, doing their own things.
Guys, please subscribe. I gotta say this too. There's a lot of people who's watching the stream right now who has not subscribed to the channel yet. There's some people who's watching who actually see my show pop up in their feed, but they haven't subscribed. They just watch a few of my shows, and YouTube is sending it to them because they think that they're interested. Make sure you hit that subscription button. You have to subscribe. It's the only way the show is gonna grow. Can't just listen to us whenever YouTube pops up on your feed. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done it, and please hit the like button. Let's keep going.
All that screaming and yelling and crap going on?
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
It's kind of, honestly, it wasn't that far out of place in that house. Was often given to yelling or loud crying or outbursts, and it was given to yelling and screaming and coming down on people. It was happening a lot more and more often, which is why I kept trying to tell I think maybe your meds are becoming less effective. It seems like you're becoming more erratic and more unstable. It seemed like the more stable I became, the more unstable she became, like we switched places.
Well, I always told you she was a black hole to need.
Jen Soto was the black hole, but not your son who unalived this girl and obliterated her, stole her innocence, stole her life, stole her future, stole everything away from her. Jen Soto was the black hole, but not your son. Wow. Wow. The pot is calling the kettle black. Wow.
Well, there's nothing to do about it now that What I hate the worst is that she.
So, so what's crazy about what I just heard is everything they're complaining about Jen and Maddie being like dysfunctional was what he needed so he can do all the shit that he was doing to her. That's what's crazy. Like he needed that dynamic so he could get away with what he was doing.
Sitting in a hospital having 3 meals a day, clean sheets, television, access to phone, reading, walking around free, taking a shower by herself, and you're sitting where you are.
Everything she just listed besides free is what her son is doing too. He's getting 3 square meals a day. He's getting access to the phone. Obviously, he's talking to you. He's alive. Everything but being free. Your son is getting too. She's describing Jen Soto allegedly being in a mental health institution. Because at that time, when these phone calls were made, there were rumors going around that Jen was checked into a mental health asylum. I don't know how much of that is true, but those were the rumors at the time. So she's trying to juxtapose what Jen is getting versus what her son is getting. But then with everything she listed is the same thing that her son is getting, minus the freedom. And guess what? Jen wasn't free to go either. She was committed in a mental health asylum. She couldn't just walk out. But anyway, let's keep going.
Her food's probably a lot better than mine.
Oh, I guarantee it's a lot of stuff that's better than yours.
Well, it'll all come out in the wash.
Yeah, well,
Hopefully.
Well,
a very, 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 very slim chance of doing anything about any of this. And I'm praying to God and asking for His help to make it possible. But
Well, how about giving up the chivalrous part and lay some truthisms on?
what's that?
I said, quit being so chivalrous and protective of, start laying some truth bombs on her.
all right, so she's asking now for Stephen to give up Jen. I just want to say this, though, that a lot of my Hispanic viewers who are in the chat right now are saying that Gordo is actually a term of endearment when said in that manner to a child. Yeah, and, we all say, oh, look at those plumpy cheeks. We don't look at our little butterball babies like they're bad, So I can see that. But, obviously, Deborah is on Stern's side, at least when these calls were made. I don't know what she thinks about her son now. People do evolve and change, God willing, but she's on her son's side, and she's not Latino, so she doesn't know what they do in their culture. So the Latinos in the room are saying, this is a term of endearment. This is not Maddie's grandmother disrespecting Maddie. And guess what? All the evidence that I've seen so far is that Maddie's grandmother loved her. Maddie's grandmother may have had a terrible relationship with Jen Soto growing up, but with most grandparents, how they treat their children is not how they treat their grandchildren. They usually slow down a bit, calm down a little bit, and learn a lot of lessons from the mistakes that they made when they were raising their own kids, and they usually treat the grandkids like gold. And from my understanding, she loved Maddie, and she treated Maddie very good, and Maddie preferred to stay with her grandmother than to stay home, but it was Jen Soto that kept clawing Maddie back. But Grandma had no problem driving Maddie, letting Maddie spend the night in a nice house that she lived in because she's a small business owner, and driving Maddie to and from school and all that good stuff. And that's why Jen said, well, sometimes she would go to Grandma, walk to Grandma's job after school. Why? Because she wanted to be with her grandmother. She didn't want to be in that insanity that was Jen Soto's house, but Jen Soto's the mother. So, of course, she's like, nope, she got to come home tonight. She got to come home tonight. Maddie had no choice but to come home. I remember when we read the story about how when Maddie had a fight with her mother and she was just walking aimlessly on the street, who did she call? She called the grandmother. And the grandmother, a lot of people gave the grandmother flack for this, but I didn't understand it because I'm a parent. When she called the grandmother said, yo, you can't be walking around the street, go home. You had people in charge, well, if I would have went and got her and I wouldn't have let her go back, then strategic is telling you, you do that with my kid, it's going to be a little while till you see that kid again. You may be my mom, my dad, my whatever, but that's my child, and you have to respect that. So if I said bring my child home, you bring my child home. Otherwise, we're going to have a conversation because it's my turn now to raise this child. Now, fortunately, I'm raising my children rationally with respect and dignity, and we know that Maddie wasn't going through that, but the grandmother didn't know. All she know is her granddaughter is walking around the streets, And the mother said for her to come home. So she said, go home to your mother. Go home. So I don't think there's any evidence that Maddie, didn't love, Maddie's grandmother didn't love her and didn't treat her with respect. So I'm more inclined to believe that when she used the word gordo, she was using it as a term of endearment rather than somehow talking about Maddie's weight. And we all seen 1,000 pictures of Maddie. She wasn't an overweight little girl. She was not. She was very petite, and she was shapely for her age. Shapely for her, at least Jen Soto fed her, or at least she went to grandmother's house enough to get some food. Let's keep going.
You know,
There's truth bombs there.
maybe none as groundbreaking or bombastic as, you might hope for, but there are some truths there, some ugly truths and some not so pretty truths, but I guess I reacted to everything the way I did because I wanted to shield her. I wanted to keep her from getting any blowback or anything, but
You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have, because that left them only one person to lay everything on, and that was you.
yep. And I should have just done the correct thing from the get-go and let the chips fall where they may. But I couldn't stand the idea of losing them both horribly.
Yeah, but now he's talking like he has the goods. So in the previous phone call, he sounded like he didn't have the goods. Now he's talking like he has the goods. I should have let the chips fall where they may. I didn't want to lose both of them, but I ended up losing them both anyway. That sounds like he has the goods now. I'm so conflicted and confused. I don't know what Stephen Stearns is working with, guys. I have no idea.
Like that, and I lost them both anyway, so.
All right, listen. We have a lot of people who've supported the channel giving super chats. We haven't had that many gift memberships, and we usually get a lot of gift memberships on the show. Right now, we have 1,056 people watching this stream and 910 likes. You guys get me to 1,000 likes, I'm going to drop 5 gift memberships. 1,000 likes equals 5 gift memberships. Let's see what we got for me.
It was pointless.
Yeah.
There was just so much agony and so much pain, so much shock and so much trauma. My mind was just not, it wasn't me anymore. I wasn't in control of myself anymore. I was doing things that I wouldn't do. I wasn't acting or thinking rationally.
How we got to this point. But let's get into the Roger update just to catch you up. He's still being pressed about mutual aid. So we'll get into the concept of mutual aid as well. If anybody's like, what's mutual aid? Don't worry, we're going to get into it. But let's go ahead and let him start.
I'm honestly surprised by how many people are angry that I said that mutual aid is not transactional.
Like I told you guys, still with the mutual aid. And look, Roger, one, I've already figured it out and decoded it for everybody. Everybody, including you, is pronouncing it wrong when you talk about this concept. It's actual mutual aid when it comes to you because you are a mooch. And two, nobody was ever mad at you about saying it wasn't transactional. People were just asking you what your part is in the mutual of it. It's called mutual aid. So what is your part of the mutual and what is your part of the aid? Exactly what aid do you offer, Roger? Because for a lot of us, it just looks like e-begging. To the untrained eye, it just looks like you constantly asking your audience to send you money, but then your part of it never comes up. Like you're never like, I did this for people, except for the one time you mentioned going to walk to get food.
I don't walk an hour and a half every day to get food for me and my neighbors because it's the only hot meal that a lot of us get because I want something from them.
Which I don't believe you actually did because you're always saying your legs don't work.
Hard for me to walk.
And your arms don't work.
I don't even have one fully functioning arm at this point.
But somehow you're walking an hour and a half each way to get everybody food. Highly unlikely, Roger. So stop trying to make it seem like people are getting mad at you because you said it wasn't transactional. That's not the problem at all. That's a misstatement of facts. Everybody's just asking you, What exactly do you do? But yeah, so if this seems like a running theme to you guys, that in the last video, Roger was explaining mutual aid or arguing about mutual aid, I think what's going on here, honestly, is that Roger has just really realized that everybody's caught on to the fact that this is a grift. So, you know, when you call somebody out for lying about something or not being truthful or trying to mislead you, then suddenly they start getting offended. I think that's what happened with Roger, because suddenly he started making video after video trying to justify mutual aid.
And if you're angry about that, please look up the definition of mutual aid before you start yelling at me about it, because it's literally there in the definition that it's not hierarchy and that everybody is included.
Challenge accepted. Mutual aid is an organizational model. Okay, we're already failing right there because you seem to be the most disorganized person I've ever come across on TikTok, and that is saying a lot. But let's go on. Mutual aid is an organizational model where voluntary collaborative exchanges of resources and services for common benefit take place amongst community members. Okay, well, there's already so many things that you're missing here, Roger. There's already so many places that you're lacking, let's say. And that would be the fact that I don't really notice you being very collaborative. It just seems to be you, one person, begging on the internet all the time. So we're already missing that. Common benefit, you never offer anything in exchange for what it is you're doing, except for you were selling jewelry, tchotchkes, let's say, paintings on your website for a while, and then you stopped that because supposedly you didn't have one working arm left. But there was that. And also, I don't really know anybody that's ever been like, I was about to go hungry until you offered me those earrings that are in the shape of a hand. So there's also that, but let's go ahead and go on. Services for common benefit take place amongst community members to overcome social, economic, and political barriers to meeting common needs. Nothing about what you're doing is to meet common needs, though. Like I said, it's all about you. So you're not at all meeting the definition so far, and I'm not even halfway through. This can include physical resources like food, clothing, or medicine, as well as services like breakfast programs or education. These groups are often built for the daily needs of their communities. But mutual aid groups are also found throughout relief efforts such as in natural disasters and pandemics like C-19. Resources are shared unconditionally, contrasting this model from charity where conditions for gaining access to help are often set, such as means testing or grant stipulations. These groups often go beyond material or service exchange and are set up as a form of political participation in which people take responsibility for caring for one another and changing political conditions. Okay, nothing about what you're doing is political. I know you mention Palestine every once in a while.
Donate it to Palestinians.
And that probably makes you feel like in some way. Ask everybody to the way you're still their drive to flatten the hierarchy, searching for empowered to enact change and take responsibility for the group. Yeah, I never noticed you doing any of that, Roger. I gotta be honest. And really, you remind me of Wimpy from Popeye. I don't know if I'm the only one in this group that's old enough to remember Wimpy from Popeye. But Wimpy was Olive Oil's brother, I believe, if you ever watched Popeye. And he would always say,
I'd gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
And there was never an episode where he actually paid for those hamburgers. And just like Wimpy, I've never seen you yourself actually pay anybody back for anything. And I've never seen anybody in your comments like, hey, I got that delivery of stuff you said you were going to give me. It was so great. But I have seen you talk about how good you're eating.
Y'all's donations have literally been able to get me, like, groceries.
And how great everything's going for you. And every once in a while, you're able to buy little bits of joy.
Little tiny bits of joy throughout.
From the money that people have donated to you. So, like I said, I'm really not seeing the collaborative part of mutual aid now that you told me to look up the definition. By definition, what you're doing is mutual aid and not mutual aid, Roger. Say it with me. It's mutual aid and not mutual aid.
It is not dependent on what you give.
This is exactly what every person that always takes and never gives says. Because it can never be dependent on what you give because you never give. But no matter how socialist or communist your idea is, Roger, if it wasn't dependent on what anybody gave, there would be absolutely no benefit. Because if nobody ever gives anything, there's no aid. And if nobody ever gives anything in return, there's no mutual. Oh yeah, and before we go any further, please like, comment, and subscribe. The mission is to see how fast we can get to 100,000 subscribers. We're currently at 74,000 now. Thank you all very much. When you hit the subscribe button, make sure you click the bell and select all notifications so you know every time I upload. Now, let's get back to the ridiculousness that is Roger.
You are not taken care of to the degree of things that you can give. That's capitalism, y'all. Like, people keep trying to fit mutual aid into an individualistic, capitalistic mentality, and that's not how it works. It's the complete opposite. Mutual aid is based on community. It means that the most vulnerable people in our community and the people who have the least resources actually get the most care.
But my question is, why are you always the most vulnerable and have the least resources? I guess what I'm asking is, when is your turn? This video really feels like a seminar where you're teaching us how we can learn to let lazy people take advantage of us.
Because they're the ones who actually need it. It means that the people who have the most resources to give in that moment give those resources. If you're viewing the people in your life as transactions, you are dehumanizing the people around you.
Says the person who's always asking their audience to hit their Venmo or to donate to their GoFundMe. I've said it before and I'll say it again. GoFundMe, Cash App, Venmo, those are all transactional sites and platforms. So you're here preaching that we should not devalue people by treating them like transactions, while you're the one that's actively treating the people around you like transactions by using them as an online piggy bank and offering absolutely nothing. You don't even offer good vibes, Roger. Like, this video doesn't feel like you explaining anything in a fun way, or you being at all entertaining. It's just like you being angry because you're finally being called out, and called out repeatedly because you keep pushing this concept that you yourself don't even live up to. So if you don't want us to look at people as transactions, you stop looking at your entire audience as transactions. By the way, I hope you got your apartment that you built $5,000 out of people for.
But literally in 24 hours, y'all have reached 20% of my GoFundMe goal. Thank you so much. I feel like I can breathe a little bit better.
Don't think I forgot about that, Mr. Lady.
You are inherently worthy of care simply because you exist. People are inherently worthy of care simply because they exist. Mutual aid does not mean both, it means all. It means everybody, and it especially means the people who cannot contribute based in a capitalistic way.
So let me get this straight. What you're saying is, for the people that don't want to do anything, like yourself, everyone is just supposed to give to them endlessly, even though they're doing absolutely nothing to help themselves. By the way, I notice your arms seem to be working fine right now. Any chance you're going to be getting out some of those orders that people have already paid you for online that you said that you would send out back in October and then suddenly never mentioned again? Which were really orders people had placed over the summer.
Orders are not going to be done by August 1st, obviously, because it's past August 1st.
And then it was right before October that you were like, I'm going to be getting some orders out. I was able to get materials. My hands are working. And that video seems to have disappeared as well. I know, because I looked for it because I wanted to include it in this one.
I would love if you could check out my shop, and also I don't know when you're going to get your stuff.
If you ask me, you should just be honest with people, and in your shop you should just start selling air. And then when people get nothing from you, you can be like, hey, you're welcome. Order fulfilled, shipped, delivered. Take a video of yourself breathing so I can confirm you got it. I don't even mean to be shady.
That if a capitalistic society does not find you valuable, guess what? You still get care. If you simply exist, you get care.
Well, you keep saying care, but what you always seem to want off of your online audience is money. And from watching you, I think the only thing anybody could gather from every one of your videos collectively is that when you say care, you really do mean financial support. So I feel like you want everybody else to be a socialist while you behave like a capitalist and just rake in their money. Let me know if I'm right or I'm wrong on that. Is that socialism or is that communism? Or is it just regular capitalism being sold as something else?
What y'all keep describing as mutual aid is actually capitalism.
Wait a minute. What we describe as mutual aid is actually capitalism? I mean, you're literally the one that keeps bringing up mutual aid.
Mutual aid, mutual aid. Mutual aid, mutual aid again. Mutual aid. Any kind of mutual aid.
I just need mutual aid.
Mutual aid it up.
And I don't know about anybody else in the home audience, but I personally had never heard of the term mutual aid until I started seeing Roger's videos online. But then in video after video, old Roger here just kept saying mutual aid over and over and over while basically just begging for money. And after you saying mutual aid a million times, me and everybody else just started to press you about what exactly is mutual aid. Tell us how you benefit the group. Tell us what it is you offer to